What's up, geeks, nerds, and all that line between? I'm JustACommonFan back with another video, and this is also going to be a one-take video. We are in our final day here of Jessica Jones week on the channel, and today we're actually going to go over a review and my personal opinions on Jessica Jones Season 2 on Netflix. Now, if you have not finished the season yet, do yourself a favor, because I will be including spoilers in this video. Subscribe to the channel right down here, bookmark the page, come back later, and then let's discuss Jessica Jones together. But if you have not finished the season yet, I'm going to let you know I am going to be including spoilers in this video. I won't be going into detail about everything, just stuff that I did like, stuff that I didn't like, but there will be spoilers, so you have been warned. Now, first, I'm going to start off with what I didn't like. I've talked about this season a lot with a couple of friends, and it really seems like it's really a mixed bag. Like, some people really like this season more than season 1. Some people do not like this season at all. So I really feel like this is going to be a mixed bag when it comes to critics and reviewers. I haven't watched many reviews out there just yet because I wanted to go into this video as fresh as possible, just give you my own personal opinions without any bias kind of thrown in there. But my personal opinion is that while I do think that season 2 of the show is strong, I definitely think that season 2 is a very, very strong effort by the show. It just did not have the same impact on me as season 1 did. Now, granted, both of them had their pacing issues. Both of them were slow here and there, but I really feel like season 1 with Kilgrave as the antagonist and as the villain was just more thrilling to watch. And Kilgrave is still my favorite Marvel, Netflix, MCU, whatever you want to call it, villain, for sure. I just feel like he's creepy and scary, and he legit had chills run down my spine in the first season. Where in this season, the villain is Jessica Jones's mother, and while she was a okay villain, and I see the story arc that they were trying to go with for the season, she didn't really affect me as a viewer psychologically like Kilgrave did. And I think really that's where it really comes in for me as a viewer. Whereas, don't get me wrong, I still enjoyed this season, but I definitely enjoyed season 1 a lot more. I also was not a fan of all of the other character stories and their arcs in the show. Don't get me wrong, I know that we have to flesh out the supporting cast. I like that they attempted to do that, but I really feel like a lot of the focus was taken off of Jessica Jones and put on to the other cast members, especially Trish Walker. Look, the writing was on the wall last season. Trish has always been jealous of Jessica's powers. She wants powers of her own. She wants to be able to protect her sister. I get that. But Trish's storyline just pissed me off. Like, I'm sorry. A lot of times when she was on the screen, I was like, can we just move past this? Not only did she become a addict again by huffing her ex-boyfriend from last season's inhaler, which gave him all kind of, super strength and stuff like that. She became addicted to that. She became obsessed with wanting powers for herself so that she could work with and protect Jessica. She got engaged, but then broke up with her boyfriend. She lost a job, and then I think she might have gotten another one. And then her whole storyline with Malcolm really pissed me off. Malcolm, I think I have mixed feelings about Malcolm. I'll get to that in a second. But sleeping with Malcolm and then using him and all that kind of stuff, I just less of that. Now, there is one thing I liked about Trish Walker that I'll talk about in a little bit. There's one thing that happened I did like, but other than that, I was like, my God, can we move on? Speaking of, oh my God, can we move on? Now, no disrespect to anybody out there that may be suffering from any kind of disease, but when I found out that Hogarth's character, played very well this season by Carrie-Anne Moss, by the way, I think she did a very good job, but I was so sick of Hogarth and her ALS. Hogarth to me was perfect last season, supporting character, there to help Jessica, there to guide Jessica. She became more important at the end, towards the end of season 1. Perfect. The scene of last season in her home with her and her wife and Kilgrave, and how he told her to cut her with the letter opener like 1,000 times, something like that. that literally, that scene is still hard for me to watch to this day. I mean, it gives me chills just thinking about it. But this season, Hogarth just, like, she found out she had ALS. She became, you know, she was going to get kicked out of her law firm because, you know, she was sickly. And she became obsessed with finding a cure. There's a lot of obsession happening this season. But thankfully for Hogarth, it never drove her over the edge. But we did get a lot of pervy, freaky Hogarth this season. Which, I mean, hey, I'm all for sex and violence in a TV show when used properly. But there were points where I was like, okay, Hogarth, you're just being a perv. Like, there was the scene where she brought home the 3 prostitutes, and and she's dancing for them and undressing for them, and they're complimenting her and giving her tips, and then they, you know, make out, and then they have a supposed love scene. They don't show it, but I was like, okay, I can kind of understand what that is. Like, you're freaking out. You just find out you have ALS. There's no cure. You know you're going to die. Your job is in jeopardy. You know, you just want to feel appreciated and loved and beautiful, and you just want to, you know, forget all that's going on with you. Got that. Totally fine with that. I was even fine when she had the weird, creepy relationship with the girl that Jessica Jones was helping that was pretty much homeless. And then the next day she was living with Hogarth. And then the next day her and Hogarth were on an item and they were having sex. Okay, I guess that was cool. But I didn't really see Hogarth's character grow at all from that relationship. It didn't change the fact that she had ALS and that she was sickly and she was, you know, going to die. It didn't change any of that. And then Hogarth convinces this girl to kill her ex-boyfriend, who I believe also used to, like, pimp her out on the street and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of blacked out when Hogarth came on the screen for a lot of the scenes. And then there was a scene towards the end of the season where Hogarth is getting yoga and she's just perving out on her yoga instructor. I mean, she could have almost had like a Roger Rabbit tongue roll out and drool, the eyeballs from the mask. I mean, it was ridiculous. I was like, okay, I feel like there's a different way to show that Hogarth is sexually attracted to this woman without her just looking so pervy and rapey. I don't know. It just kind of freaked me out. Again, has nothing to do with the actress. I think Carrie Ann Moss did good with what she was given. I have no problem with, you know, I don't want anybody thinking I have problems with, you know, women being comfortable in their sexuality, or, you know, middle-aged or older women being comfortable in their sexuality. Not at all. I'm happy that you know, that was part of her character. But I just feel like it never really added to her story, at least in my opinion. And then let's talk about Malcolm. Man, there's a lot of things about this I like about Malcolm, a lot that I don't. What I do know is that Malcolm is, if he wasn't before, the women are going to be crushing on Malcolm now, because dude went to the gym and he got a Avenger body. Like, he went to like that Thor Captain America gym somewhere in New York and he got in shape. So kudos to you, dude, for doing that. But you know, he's recovering from his drug addiction from last season. He's working with Jessica. He's pretty much, you know, cleaned his life up since last season. But if you notice, he has a new obsession. Not only sex, he has a couple of sex scenes as well. But his obsession is fixing Jessica. And you can kind of see that where he always is like pushing her to work, pushing her towards the cases, pushing her to be a better person, working with her even though she fires him like 50 times this season. And he's becomes not obsessive but very focused on fixing up her apartment and painting and repairs, which is cool. But I really do think they never really played up the fact that this former addict is now taking that addiction and kind of putting it onto Jessica. I also feel like we should have had more of him possibly having a relapse. It just seemed like he just kind of cleaned up his life really quickly. I'm not saying I want the character to be back on drugs again. I'm just saying that I feel like it was just a little bit too easy. And yes, I do know the one scene where Trish convinced him to take the inhaler and then all that stuff, but it never really amounted to anything. Like, he took the inhaler, he didn't display any abilities, kind of just like freaked out and ran away from her. And then the very next scene we see him in, he's 100% fine. It didn't damage him at all. And I'm thinking, as serious of an addict that he was in season 1, if that were to really happen, he would be nose diving down. You know what I mean? But he just picked himself back up and kept going on about his day. So yeah, those are. And then with Jessica, I just feel like her motivations kind of got muddled. You know, I think it was cool to find out that there's another superpowered villain. You know, you kind of got to give Netflix a break that the only superpowers they can really show are super strength because of their budget. But there's another superpowered person running around killing people. You don't know why. And I think it was really cool when we have a cameo from the Wizard, which I looked it up. I didn't know if it was a real comic book character or not, but apparently he is, and he's super fast, kind of like the Flash, but he's also kind of portly and fat. And when Jessica's sitting down trying to take new cases, he comes in and is like, you know, I have powers and people have experimented on me and now they're trying to kill me and I need your help. And Jessica doesn't believe him until one of the best scenes in the season where he starts to whiz around her apartment, and then she's like, crap, I almost used a different word there. She's like, crap, like, you are fast. And then I think that was a great way to kick off the theme of the season, where Jessica's like, okay, there were other people who were experimenting on, like myself. And now they're being targeted and killed. I need to find out who's killing them, why, who did these experiments, and why, and why they did them to me as well. So I think that was a good arc to send her down her path for the season, but I felt like she just got kind of lost. I mean, granted, I did like the episode where we learned about her past, how she got her jacket, how she, you know, her ex-boyfriend, how she came up with the name for her her job, her detective agency. I think all that was really cool, but I just feel like when it came to like the boyfriend down the hall and her mom who ended up being the killer, I feel like her motivations were just blinded. And granted, I get it, that's your mom, and you thought your mom was dead, and now she's bad, but she's a killer, and you don't know how to handle it. But I don't know, I feel like from season 1 to the Defenders to now, I feel like her character should have grown enough where she could have been like, okay, that's my mom, but she's bad and I have to send her to jail. And yes, I know that she did end up going to jail and everything like that, but then she broke out and she was pretty much ready to be Bonnie and Clyde on the road with her, trying to keep her from killing people. So that kind of upset me. I just felt like Jessica Jones, I just felt like her character didn't have as much growth as needed. Yeah, she had growth where she let, you know, new people into her life and supposedly cut Trish off as well from her life. But I don't know, I just kind of feel like her character could grow a little bit more this season. Speaking of Trish, the last thing that I really didn't like about this season is the anticlimactic ending. Where you have Jessica Jones and her mother on a Ferris wheel at an amusement park, and she's talking about, you know, all this sweet stuff about how that's her daughter, blah, blah, and all of a sudden, boom, she gets shot in the head, and you find out that it's Trish. Trish shot her in the head. Jessica is extremely upset, and Trish did have kind of a valid point where she's like, you know, the police are coming. If I didn't shoot her first, they were going to shoot both of you, and I had to protect you. So I think that's a good wrinkle to add to Trish and Jessica's relationship. Maybe that will actually inspire her to push Trish away and keep her at kind of arm's length next season. But I also thought it was a little bit anticlimactic. Like, it's just she got shot in the head and that was it. That was the end of our main villain this season. It's gone. Just no fights, nothing fancy. Just boom, she's dead. That's it. So I thought that was a little weird. But on to what I did like. I did like Kristen Ritter this season. I mean, I liked her last season. She was my favorite part of the Defenders, but I just feel like Kristen Ritter completely embodies the character of Jessica Jones. And when I see her act on screen, I don't see Kristen Ritter. I 100% see Jessica Jones. I think that was awesome. I did like the reappearance of Kilgrave. I liked how once Jessica mistakenly killed someone by mistake again and it just tore her up. I like the fact that something broke in her psyche and now she started to see and hear Kilgrave again. So I would love for that to continue next season where Kilgrave is not there, but somehow now that she's killed somebody else, that his influence starts to creep back into her soul, and we kind of see an even more morally ambiguous character than we already have. I think that would be really, really cool. But I really wish it would have happened earlier on in the season. Now, with a lot of Netflix shows, especially the Marvel shows, it really doesn't pick up until episode like 6 or 7, and then like 6, 7, 8 are like, whoa, we're in it. It's high paced, and then 9 and 10 kind of trail off, and then 11, 12, 13 we're kind of ramp it back up again. So I really would have liked maybe instead of like the final 1 or 2 episodes, or however many it was, maybe half the season we see Kilgrave infecting Jessica Jones's mind, and she sees him everywhere she goes, and it starts to drive her mad, because I really do think that killing someone, which is the one thing that she always tries to avoid, could really set her off down that path again. So I like that. I just wish they would have had more of it. I loved the fact that we finally got some experiments done on Trish Walker. She finally got, the powers that she's been looking for. I think it was I don't know, maybe it was kind of a nod to Daredevil and Elektra, the movie Daredevil, which I shamefully will admit that I have seen only once, though, only once. But when she went to talk to Jessica, and Jessica said she wanted nothing to do with her. So she walks to the elevator opens, she drops her phone, and then her cat-like senses activate, and everything starts moving in slow motion, and she catches her phone with her foot. I thought that was she flips it up and catches it with her hand. I thought that was really cool. So hopefully next season we'll get some Hellcat. I think that would be really cool. I've been waiting for Trish to get her powers for a while. Trish did technically die, so I won't go too much into the backstory of Hellcat, but in the comics, Hellcat dies, and then I think she goes to hell, and then she gains powers from like a demon or something, and she comes back. I think one of her backstories is that. So she did die. I don't know if they're going to go through the whole she went to hell thing, but I do think there was one point in the season where she died on an operating table, and they brought her back. So maybe that's how she got her powers. I don't know. I think it's a good nod to the character either way. There was also a line that was said by her mom when she was in the hospital, where she said, 2 of your 9 lives are up already. And I think, wow, that's a really good nod to the comic book fans that, this character will become Hellcat, saying that she's already lost 2 of her 9 lives. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, that's about the only thing I liked about Trish this season. The only thing I liked about Trish this season was that final scene. I did like just the woman that played Jessica's mother. I think she did a very good job in the role. I just didn't feel like she was a strong enough villain. I just feel like, the first couple of times when she murdered somebody, that's really all she does is murder people in this show. I feel like, okay, she murdered people. Cool. That sucks. That's terrible. She got to stop her. But then I feel like after the first 2 people, it just became a common occurrence, and then Jessica just kind of got used to it. Like, I feel like she kills people, and then she's like, oops, there's my crazy mom again, killing folks. Oh, mom. Do-do-do-do-do-do. My murder mom. Like, it was like a psycho mom, like a sitcom that was happening within Netflix, within Marvel's Netflix show for Jessica. I didn't like that at all. I thought it was terrible. I thought there should have been more gravitas for every death. I feel like, it really should have affected Jessica a lot more. And maybe it did for some people, but for me, it just really didn't. But I think the actress playing her part did a very, very good job. I just don't think that the writing for her character was done that well. And if you're looking for any kind of cameo from any of the other Defenders, it's not there. There's no Luke Cage. There's no Iron Fist. There's no Daredevil. There's not even any, what's her name? The character played by Rosario Dawson. Claire Temple. There's not even any Claire Temple in here as well. So on one hand, it's good that Jessica's standing on her own, but I guess I really just love that team up between her and Luke Cage in the first season, and I really would have liked to see that in here. So maybe, who knows, maybe Jessica will do Cage the honors, and maybe she'll appear on season 2 of Luke Cage coming this summer. Yeah, I did like Malcolm's character arc overall. I did like how he finally stopped taking crap from Jessica and decided just to go out and and get his own job. I don't really know how I like the fact that he's working for Hogarth and working with Chang, who, and if you notice, I kind of completely skipped over Chang. Let's just say everything about Chang, I hate it. Beginning to end, I hate it. He was the most unnecessary character in this show, period. He was only like a temporary foil to Jessica, like a whisper in the wind, and then he just kept showing up and just being annoying. So if you're wondering, yeah, I hated Chang. But other than that, I think Malcolm being able to leave Jessica, work with Hogarth, I think that's cool. I don't like this Malcolm Hogarth Chang team up because I feel like they're gonna possibly go for Jessica, and I hope not. Hopefully Hogarth and Malcolm can let go of some of the issues they have with Jessica. They can kind of all be on the same team once in a while. And I think the action in the show was pretty good. It's just a lot of throwing people through walls and stuff. Because again, this is a Netflix show, and even though they can spend, what was it, like $90 million on Bright, I guess they couldn't give Jessica Jones to show that a lot of people actually watch and like more money. So hopefully next season we'll actually get a villain that, maybe they'll amp up the budget a little bit, and we won't just get people getting thrown through walls and windows and stuff. We'll get an actual villain with powers that can really, challenge Jessica on all fronts. But yeah, that's my review of season 2. I know it may seem like there was more that I didn't like than what I did like, but if you check my my account on Stardust, you can follow me on Stardust at JustACommonFan. I did a quick reaction for every single episode this season, and I overall liked it. I'm not gonna lie, I did like it. I just didn't think it was at all as strong as season 1 of Jessica Jones, and I feel like it could have been a lot better. But I would recommend you check it out if you are a fan of the character. If I had to give it a star rating out of 5, maybe a 3. Maybe a 3.5. And again, that's not bad. It's not trying to say that it's, terrible, that you shouldn't watch it. I'm just saying that, I don't know. I enjoyed it, but nothing about it would make me go back and watch it again. And I really feel like Jessica could have had more growth as a character. I felt like she could have had more of a spotlight, and that she was kind of pushed to the side. I do like the fact, however, that there was a different female director for every single episode, and every episode was pretty much female focused. Sometimes I do feel like that was to the chagrin and detriment of some of the male characters. I think it kind of is like that Rey Finn thing, whereas the first Star Wars came out, we were like, oh cool, there's a female lead, and then there's a black male co-star, such great diversity, that's going to be awesome. But yet Star Wars seems to keep pushing forward their female characters to the forefront, which is fine, but it always seems to be at a detriment to a male character. And I think that's kind of what happened here with Jessica Jones. I feel like they pushed the other female characters to the front, and it kind of pushed Jessica Jones back. And then, there's honestly not one male in this that I would root for, although I'm sure that the ladies will be rooting for Malcolm. But anyway, that's my review. Alright guys, so I kind of told a little lie. The memory card was full, and it cut me off right in the middle of what I was saying. So I apologize for the abrupt cut that you just experienced. But I want to say thank you so much. We are now at 70 subscribers strong. I really, really appreciate that. My goal right now is just to reach 100 and to see where I go from there. But thank you guys so much for helping me to reach 70. And you can continue to help. You can like and comment on this video. You can share it with your friends and ask them to subscribe as well. I make new videos every week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you for your support. I think that Jessica Jones Season 2 was pretty good. Not as good as Season 1, but definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of the character. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a common fan. Hey, no, no, no.